why don't you introduce us today, bro, to the episode? Yeah, it looks like you didn't touch it today. That's what. Cool. You took your hat off and then you jumped on video.
Sweet. How good. I like it.
Welcome everyone along to
Sup, fam? Welcome to another episode of Rant and Yarn. Thank you for being here. Thank you to JP for his time. Today we're going to be talking about a follow-up from the branding and the positioning chat we had. So it would be a good idea to follow it up with the logo versus brand discussion. We're going to be talking about what a logo is or what it's not, and what a brand is and what it's not. Dive into what makes a good logo, some examples of the types of logos and brand, and what makes a strong brand. And we'll provide some examples and start putting some shit on the screen for people to look at.
People can follow along.
And
actually, so we can show some examples. So anything we talk about, we might get a few edits up on screen so people can actually see what the hell's happening.
Well, we're getting there. We'll make it interesting and fun.
We're going to be snappy today, right? That's our goal.
But because this is an exciting chat. Well, for me anyway.
I think it's exciting.
I love this stuff. This is my bread and butter. But it's I'm looking forward to diving into it with you.
Man. Well, lead the way. Mr. Graphics Design.
Graphics dude.
Mr. Man. What isn't a logo then?
A logo is not a brand. Obviously. A logo is so Sagi Aviv is like the graphic designer I was talking about earlier. He's one of the best logo designers of our time.
So what's his name?
Sagi Aviv.
Sagi Aviv.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said that think of it, logo is a period at the end of a sentence. It's not the sentence itself, meaning that a logo, its core purpose is to identify. It's a useful tool, but it's for identification purposes only. It doesn't communicate the brand. It's just there to represent. It's like your face, right? This is your logo. If that makes it easy.
Your face. What are we going to go with?
Your face. So that would be probably the easiest way to think of it. Logo is your face.
Because it's the bit people see first, right?
Yeah.
Before anything else, usually.
Yeah.
They see the logo. So if I see a pair of shoes and I want to identify who made those shoes, I'll look for the little picture on the side.
Yeah, that's a good point. So think of it as your face. Like people see your face and like, what's his name? He's either a cunt or a good guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty bad with names. Like, you can remember faces.
A GC or Justice.
A GC. But you remember faces and how those people make you feel.
Well, there's for a lot of people, they probably don't realise that there actually are loads of different kinds of logos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, that the brand isn't the logo. Brand is more of the feeling.
Yeah.
And then there are things like a lot of people probably get because often like pictorial logos, for example, which is one type, they're often called brand marks.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's the brand, right? It's part of the overall brand, but like you say, it's the face, right?
Yeah. So well.
So you mentioned Nike. Which would be a pictorial, right?
That would be an abstract.
That's too, right?
Yeah, like iconography.
It's not a tick; it's a swoosh.
It's
and that's what a swoosh is. But what the hell is a swoosh, right? So it's abstract, meaning it doesn't look like anything in particular.
Yeah, it's like magic.
Because earlier I said, what was an example of abstract, and I said Twitter, but that's not. That's a pictorial because it's a bird.
It's based on a picture.
It looks like a bird, and you're like, okay, I get it. And so they tie the bird thing to the tweet, and so that makes sense.
Tweet. Yeah.
Whereas Nike, you have to know Nike in order to know the swoosh.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's like it was based on that. Obviously, Nike, the goddess of victory, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was inspired by the
wings.
The wings. Yeah.
There's a good book too, like the Shoe Dog is the book. Phil McKnight. Phil Knight, not McKnight.
Phil Knight. Yeah.
Phil Knight. Great book. I listen to my books, and I often listen to books in the car, and Phil Knight just talks about the story of Nike. In the beginning was like Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
And he goes through that from the creation through to the time that they go public.
Yeah.
And they become bajillionaires overnight at that point. But such a good story.
Yeah.
And he's a great storyteller as well. I had to like go for extra drives in the car just to listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nike, great story.
Yeah, great story. But I mean, in saying that, like, so there's like three, I guess, popular types of logos that we know now. Or there's a few others, but I reckon those are the three that we're most familiar with. Like word marks, for example. Think of Coca-Cola. You know, word mark is like typographic logos, like
so it's just
a name,
words,
a word
made to look cool, right?
It's usually either the person's last name or like a combination of words, like Coca-Cola, you know, based on like the coca leaves and the cola nuts. That's right, yeah. So it's like a combination, but it's a word, like it doesn't have an image or things like that. So that's the first type of popular type of logo that we know of. It's word mark or typographic, and then this pictorial that we just talked about, it based on images like Apple, Twitter, Lacoste.
With the alligator or
the crocodile.
One of those.
Yeah, either or.
Because you always see that on like really nice polo shirts and things like that, and it's just, it seems weird that that's the thing. We see like rod and gun. Yeah. Which is like is that the dog? Is it a pointer? Actually, I see that's. It's less memorable right now than an alligator or a crocodile because it's like this green thing. Because you see someone wearing like a pink polo and then there's this little green reptile on it, which is memorable, right? Random.
That's a good point because like pictorial logos can be indirectly or directly like represented. Like Apple, because it's a directly way of saying like pictorial. Yeah, it's an apple. And Lacoste is indirectly because it was based on his nickname.
Like a tennis player, wasn't
it? Yeah, he was a tennis player. Not Brene Brown. Brene Brown's right. Rene Lacoste. He was a tennis player, and like he was nicknamed a crocodile. That's where the logo came from.
Yeah, I could never remember the name of it when I'm trying to think. But we've been talking about it a lot lately, so I'll probably remember now. But whenever I've seen it, I've always said, you know, the crocodile one. Yeah. And people are like, I think
the alligator.
Or the alligator, the reptile.
Yeah.
I just have like Godzilla.
Yeah.
Or something.
yeah, true. So those are.
So I got the word mark.
Word mark.
The pictorial. Abstract.
And then abstract, where Nike comes in. What were you saying before? The other one, Pepsi.
Pepsi,
that's so it's abstract. Not like
it's just some swirly lines.
Yeah, those are the fun ones. Well, from my point of view, anyway. Like I like working on abstracts because you're not thinking literally; you're thinking lateral of how you can represent different.
Have you ever seen an AI design a logo?
An AI.
Yeah. Oh, that's the kind of mess they come up with. Like, it's just it's never defined. It's just like a bunch of. It looks like a kid splattered some paint on a thing, which. I'm not trying to be mean to AI if anyone's sensitive about that stuff. But at the moment, the level that an AI does a logo is the same as you would get your 5-year-old to do. Yeah.
Abstract is fun. Yeah. But it's risky as well because if you get it wrong, it just look like a
well, people are just like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's probably the more enjoyable one to get stuck in because it's probably the most challenging. But I guess those are the three main types of logos.
And what's the one though that's the picture with the words in it? So like you think of Burger King, which is like a burger with Burger King
that's
written
a combo.
In it. Okay, it's like both.
It's a combo of imagery and typographic.
And you have together. Like mascot types.
Yeah, and then you've got like emblems like David Harvitson, Harley Davidson. David Harlitson.
Yeah, because it's their whole name, but in like a shield, a crest or something.
Yeah, it's usually they got that retro, vintage feel. And Starbucks used to be. I told you that the other day. Starbucks.
It used to be just
an emblem when they first started out.
But now it's the words with the picture.
The progression of it, and now it becomes a symbol now. Yeah, it's just a simple design of the Little Mermaid zooming in. In a circle.
And then what are the ones that are they're just letters, right? So like KFC. BBC.
Yeah, those are the base ones, eh? IBM, like those are abbreviated like
acronym
logos there.
kind of
NASA,
thing.
because it's like it's a long name anyway, so it's like
But NASA's like it's a weird one because everyone calls NASA. Same as they call KFC, but they don't even. Probably a lot of people don't realize that NASA is like an acronym, right?
Yeah, an acronym. Yeah,
and so that becomes also like a word mark.
Yeah.
In its own way. Yeah. Because it becomes a word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A bit like, Google was a word and now it's an action.
Yeah.
I keep on Googling something.
Yeah. Now they've got the massive.
So I think that probably shows the weight of a company, doesn't it?
Yeah.
By how you recognize it.
Yeah, and it's like thing with the logo is like it should endure the test of time. Like it should have a long life. Like we just talked about earlier, people when they ask for a logo, they always think of like popular logos like Nike or Coca-Cola or Adidas, but all these logos take a long time to get to where they are now. Like you should see them when they first started out with the original designs and how they made the progress to it being the most recognizable these days. But that's more coming from the brand that makes that logo, that adds the meaning to that logo.
And I think that, because when I think of that, I think of Apple. Yeah. Because I only found out the other day that through just sort of doing a bit of research for this, that Apple's logo looks nothing like it does right at the beginning. But it was only at the very beginning. Yeah. Because it was a black and white picture. Yeah. Naturally, because it was a long time ago. Yeah. And you had it was Isaac Newton under a tree with the apple ready to hit him on the head, and then they changed it. Let's simplify this and just make it an apple. It was the colourful one, because I remember back in school, showing my age, when we had a Macintosh computer.
Back in 1900s.
Back in the 1900s, where, we'd had the Apple Macintosh, and it would have the little colourful apple on it, which was ironic because the screen was black and white. But
that's a good point, though, like with the logo progression thing that we talked about. Like if you look at the big brands, the bigger the company, the simpler the logo, right? And that's one key thing about logo design is simplicity. Like you're just gonna have to make it as simple. And people think like a simple National Geographic, for example, it's just a yellow frame, right?
Yeah. It's a square.
Yeah. But that is like, it stems from like, because it's a magazine originally, yeah. And then it was a graphic on the magazine, and you see.
It was the frame on the outside of the cover, right?
Yeah. See, that's like simple. People are like, if you came from Mars today and you'll see that, it's like, the fuck is that? It's just a frame. But it's.
The brand has developed it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but it works. It works very well, and I think the color adds a lot more to it as well. That yellow, because it was like, I think when it was created at the time, Kodak was the yellow as well, but National Geographic was well known for that color and that logo at the time, the yellow. But I guess it's another key thing to remember about logo design is like, keep it simple and distinctive. Like, I think the simpler it is, it becomes more unique to your own your company and your brand. Like, Nike, for example, when Carolyn first did that Nike swoosh, Phil didn't like it at all, but he's like, we're gonna have to go with something. I've got shoe boxes.
Yeah, here's $35.
Yeah, and get paid. Well, like,
it was probably a lot of money at the time. I don't know.
Was it like later on 1980s or the early 90s that they went back to where it was like a ring? It was custom made with the Nike on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and gave her like an undisclosed amount of like Nike stock. Pretty sure she's doing really well now, but good on them.
Yeah, well, that's probably like one of those stories that you see on like Netflix where they see these people getting smashed over by these big companies.
And it's amazing how $35 that logo cost. If someone came to me today, I'd be like, can you design your logo for $35? I was like, yeah, I'll just draw a line. That's $35, man. Fuck that.
Yeah. That's it. I'll just do a tick.
That is exactly the amount of work that takes for $35. Because you're not paying and like I'm very passionate about this because people think designing a logo is very easy, but there's a whole lot of things you have to do. It's kind of like video, right? There's a pre-production, production, and post. When you get the brief from your client and stuff, you do your own work. Like you look at their competition and how they might stand out in terms of look and feel, and research other logos and within the same space, and then you start on creating the logo for the client. But thinking that if you provide the National Geographic logo, like you come up with something like that and be like, did that take you 5 minutes? I could do that in 5 minutes. I can just draw the square and it'll be done. It's like, well, yeah, but I did all the work to come to that square because it's the best representation of rectangle. I mean, best representation of the brand and the company, because I've done all this other work and this is how I narrowed it down. It's not like I just sat and look at the piece of paper. It's like, yeah, rectangle will fit that and that's it. No,
Yeah.
You're not paying for the logo itself. You're paying for the years
The
that took me to come up with that and the whole process of learning how to do that properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I'm just
justifying your
ranting on
fees
about
now.
that. But it's like, fuck, man, I can't do a logo in
because that's
in 5 minutes.
I get it, because a lot of people will come to you and just say, I just want a logo. That's all they're going to say, right? That it's a throwaway for them. I just want a logo, because they see logos everywhere and they're like, oh, how hard is it to make a picture?
Yeah.
But that's not what happens.
Yeah.
No
If
one's
they
just making a picture.
Yeah.
If that was that so easy, they just do it themselves.
Yeah. If a client come to you and be like, just make me a logo, run.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like they need to give you. There's a lot of things, right? You need to talk about what the purpose the logo serves, and like the brand, the company. There's a whole lot of other questions that we as designers need to understand before we even dive into the process of creating that logo. Because if we don't understand you, then the logo probably won't reflect. You good?
Yeah.
Get some Sprite in you.
Yeah.
Have you had your morning coffee?
I did.
I haven't had one yet, but
Good the yawns. But
Yeah.
just thinking about that, like from my side of the fence, the advertising and marketing side of things, you probably don't realize how much a good brand shows off their logo, and how much and how often. Like we get advertised to thousands of times in a single day, especially if you've got a screen.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a phone or a computer, or you watching streaming services, it's getting jammed down your throat. Even if you only watch, say, Netflix, and you don't have necessarily a phone that you are glued to, but every movie or TV show you watch, there will be brands that will be secretly advertising to you as well. And if you don't think that you are influenced about it that much, download one of those games that gets you to guess the companies that so it'll show you even half of the logo and stuff, and you got to guess what it is. You'll be surprised at how many you get right. And that just shows how much a good logo combined with great marketing does for a business's recognition.
Yeah, and a strong brand. That's a really good point with that. It's well, because I mean we lead into the question of what makes a great logo, right? Well, there's really three main things. Like it needs to be relevant, it needs to be appropriate, and it needs to be distinct, unique in its own way. I think if you can nail those three things while you're in the process, you get a really simple and unique looking logo. But then again, that's just half of the story, right? Like Paul Rand, he's a great graphic designer. He did the logo for IBM. He said that the logo is just an empty vessel without the brand. Like it only ever has meaning when it's attached to the brand, the product, or your service and things like that, which is true, right?
Yeah, because I'm sure there are some cool logos out there that we'll never see.
Yeah, well, there's
because
some terrible ones, man.
Yeah, but there's probably some terrible ones that still make it,
some
right?
Shit ones myself too. I just like, just give me the money. You didn't really give me the information I want. Here's your logo.
Here's your logo. I got an
AI
AI to draw it.
Yeah.
But I think that we probably aren't seeing some really great logos out there because the brand isn't carrying a whole lot of other stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
it's not.
like the business itself might be shit.
Yeah.
and their marketing and their branding if it's shit,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. So as a result, we never get to see these cool logos that are out there, and vice versa.
Yeah.
The company might be awesome, and so there's this really odd logo that they've got, and then eventually they'll probably change. Because I think, man, when was it? Was it a couple of months ago, and I sent you that post on Instagram, and those logos they got fixed, and they were all like horrible ones.
Yeah.
Looked like, you know, they were just like messed up.
Yeah.
You know, one looked like, you know, they had a penis in it, another one looked a pair of boobs or anything like that, but they weren't meant to be like that. Yeah. Either someone was being sneaky, or they just indirectly screwed up.
Yeah.
Or they had some unconscious issues they needed to deal with when they built these things.
Yeah, so those are the problems that stems from not conceptualizing stuff, like not doing a lot of concepts. Because, I mean, for my process anyway, when I'm designing a logo, I always start with paper and pencil, because you have more control to correct anything when you're freehanding it. Just draw out images and you get it. Like, all ideas are great ideas, even the shit ones. Like, just get those ones. The ones that you already know in your head, it's like, yeah, it's not going to look good. Still put those down. Because then you look at like 3 or 4 pages of all those sketches, like, oh, okay, I can see that one might have some legs on it, and then I can see that one might be a really good one, and then figure out a way you can combine them. But it's a lot of testing, man. Like, I have a lot of workbooks at home that fills with random drawings of like words or things when I'm working for designing logos and stuff. It's just testing out stuff, right? And how it looks. And when you take it to the computer, you look at black and white, and you know, the negative the other way around, white on black. Because like sometimes the negative space can play with things like that. Where it's like, that looks good. It's like, I can see a dick in that, man, or a pair of titties on it. But
just by reversing it,
like
look at the negative space that you don't see when you're looking at the logo itself.
Yeah, but it means like this, you're always refining that to its simplest form, man. But yeah, I guess we just wanted to cover that before we head into the brand side of thing. But I guess the main thing for to remember with logo design is it needs to be simple. I guess simplicity is the way to go these days. You don't have to add too much to it. One dangerous thing to do with logo is trying to say too much with it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to try and communicate what the brand is. Remember, it's just there to identify. Like, you see the image, it's like, oh yeah, that's KFC. By the way, KFC is a mascot logo with the
what's another mascot?
Yeah.
Oh, sports teams, I guess. Sports teams.
Sports teams. Yeah.
A lot of them will be mascot logos.
Yeah, I think we've covered the most important stuff in regards to logo and logo design. Those are the key main things to think about. I think we'll get into the details of it in the following videos. Maybe not the next one, but we just wanted to make up a brand or a company, and then just work on the logo while we chatting away. I just designed it.
One actually we thought about was for Rant and Yarn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can use that, and then that was.
What do you think of the one I sent you yesterday?
Yeah, I like, because when I saw it in the negatives, I was like, yeah, that looks like a margarita, right? But it's like, nice. I like it. We just need margaritas then, man. But we could use that as an exercise and just go through the process and stuff. Obviously, we're not going to cover everything in one video. We're probably going to do the research side of things beforehand, and then we'll just use that information to try and come up with a logo. We can either do it in 2 parts and just see how we go with that, but that will be a great follow-up for this one. But so I guess now we've covered up not everything you need to know about the logo, but I think those are the key things that you need to think of regarding logo and logo design anyway. And then heading into the brand side of things, that quote by Jeff Bezos said the other day is like, brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Yeah, if you're a cunt, people see your face, it's like, yep, he's a cunt. They don't even have to say your name, because they already know who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think of it that way. Brand is because I said that in the logo thing that we covered, there's a difference between the pair of trainers at a pair of Nike trainers, right? Like you see Nike, you already have a clear image of how you associate that logo with the brand. You know what I mean? Like brand is the result of a combination of things. You know, all the work that you put into your company. Like for example, the positioning thing that we talk about, like your promise to people, like your branding, your marketing, a combination of all of that. Brand is the result of it, how people think of you and your company, you know, based on their experience and stuff. Like you look at the great brands, they're not only seen and heard, but they're experienced, right? So if I say Coca-Cola, you already have a clear idea of what that looks like in your head, like the feel of it. Like when we're talking about the branding, they don't sell the product. They sell the experience of that product. Your brand, like you need to stand for something. For example, like the Harley Davidson thing that we talk about, like that brand stands for freedom, right? Like on a motorcycle and going on cycling trips and things like that. Like they stand for freedom. And then Volvo, they stand for safety. Oh, and Starbucks. Like I didn't realize Starbucks have their own language, eh? They like.
You mean when you're ordering the drinks, or?
Yeah, like when you're ordering the drinks, because they focus on like serving people. Like there was one that was like a skinny, low foam, extra hot caramel macchiato. Like, so people who always go to Starbucks understand that.
Oh, you mean when they're telling the barista?
Yeah, like and they already developed their own language and stuff, but they realize that they don't focus on serving coffee. That's what they do, right? But they focus on serving people, is what they say. I guess an important thing with like developing a brand is like your difference, like we talked about with the branding side of things, like be different.
If you want to be what specifically?
Like like saying like with all those companies that we talked about, like Harley Davidson and Volvo and stuff, like they're focused on what they stand for, like have something to stand for, be different, be vigilant, like not.
You want to. So when we're thinking about it from, say, a marketing point of view, what I would talk to customers about is that we're building that customer avatar.
Yeah.
And then whatever that logo or branding, and that has to speak to that customer, right? So if your customers are men, alpha male types, and then so what you want to be portraying is something like that's independent, tough, you know, that kind of stuff. So you might your colors that you might use in your branding might be quite dark and strong colors. So you might have like chromes or black or like charcoals or greys and things like that it sort of has a toughness to it. And so like Coca-Cola did when they introduced you know, the zero stuff, because that was targeted at men, and so the branding is black. And so Harley Davidson as well is a bit like that. The colours are kind of like solids, they're tough, and so they're really focused at their market. And which is what you should be doing when you're looking at your branding and stuff. So like you were saying earlier, when you really want to focus on the brand side of it, you need to think about who you are targeting, who is your audience, who are your customers, because that's who you're going to need to put in mind when you're thinking about who will be serving, because that will dictate what your logo looks like. I think you said it to one of our business partners when we designed the logo for this. Remember, it's not for you. It's for your customer. And because we had to get him out of his head so that he didn't make everything blue and gold. And thankfully he didn't, and it was an improvement. I felt. What came out. So it was good, because he's got a graphic designer on staff, and poor lady, like the stuff that she would have to put up with, and he won't mind me saying this, but he's a bit of a menace when it comes to trying to like tie down to say, you know, what the hell are you actually trying to get me to do?
Believe it or not, that your customers own your brand. You own your company, but remember, your brand is how people.
Well, they
feel
pay the
about
bills,
you.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like, and you get that a lot with logo design, man. People's like, oh, can you make it purple? Because I like the color purple. It's like, yeah, but does it serve any purpose for the brand? Like, what does it have to? What relation does it have to the brand? Like, liking something is not enough because designing this is not. Your logo is not based on what you like. It's based on what. Branding. It's done for your customers. It's for the people that are going to consume your product or use your product, your service, and everything like that. It's not what you like. So a great brand, they have a clear focus on what they stand for. Like we talk about with Harley Davidson, with freedom, and Volvo with safety. Nike, the focus is not on the athletic gear. It's about accomplishment
and victory.
So what makes a great brand? A clear focus on what they stand for, like understanding the target audience, like you were saying before, understanding their market, their competition, and consistency with the messaging of the branding, right? Like everything should match what you say on your website, on your printed material, billboards, and everything like that. That's the only way you can have a successful brand.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what your logo looks like.
Yeah, doesn't matter what your logo looks like. If you have a nice face and a horrible personality, no one would like to.
They're interested for
hang
the
out
first
with
few
you
minutes, and then they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
there's nothing to back it up."
Exactly, but I guess that will be the main thing really for logo and brand. I think we've covered off the base of it. Some information in there that are very important and key to. For both logo and brand. And we'll definitely do a follow up. I'm working on the Rant and Yarn logo and get some ideas. We're trying to figure out how to make it interactive, if we can. But I guess it will be on social media or YouTube Live.
Yeah, we might put something in as a stopgap and then maybe do a redesign with everyone's help when more people know about us.
Yeah. That would be great. I reckon it would be great fun. But I guess that's it. Thank you very much for being here and taking time off to watch this video. We appreciate it, and we hope we're getting you some value for what we know and we've done. Thank you to JP for his time and for his contribution this morning. If you have any questions, please comment either on the Reels on Instagram or on YouTube. Hit the like button if you like the video. If you dislike it, and leave us a comment as to why. We always welcome your feedback. Subscribe if you want. If not,
see you next
not
time.
the end of the world. Do you want to say anything, JP, before we close off?
Man, thanks for having me along again. Be back in it for the next one next week as well.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing everyone then.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
Soup.